All right, hello everybody, or nobody. Let me see now if it refreshes. Yep, there it is. I love
See,
that picture. That old man's awesome.
yeah, get off the lawn.
Yes, stay off my lawn. And we'll get into that, what that means. I'm sure you can all guess. Oh, geez, everyone's already here. Yeah. Now, what I don't see is I have group chat open because I've actually done a little bit of homework on how this all works, but it doesn't appear to show the same chat that I see on the live feed.
Huh, that's interesting.
Yeah, there's all kinds of camera options here too. Like you can go in and kick someone off if they're acting out. I think they put in the instructions.
Okay.
You have somebody that's acting out, you can give them the boot. Yeah, no, see the group chat doesn't seem to work. I think maybe what group chat is you and I can chat back and forth. It's just not visible to anyone
Hey,
else.
hey, Patrick, we already got a thumbs down. We've only been on for about maybe a minute.
Yeah, I think that's your stalker.
Hmm. Yes, I know. Well, let me give us a thumbs up.
I see after comics, Alan had looks like he has the firsties note. Then we have Chris Winsky. Hello, anybody there? Yep, we're here now. Sorry, we're a little bit late. Todd Hobeck's there, and Randy Stone. Awesome.
All
And
right.
there's nine altogether, so slow start.
Hey, we'll get it rolling.
Hit the ground running every week.
Yeah.
We can wait a little bit before we start. Anyway, if you could tell by the thumbnail of this part of Anthony and I, we talked during the week, and it just seemed to me that we were both kind of having a stay off my lawn week as far as the hobby goes. And part of that's age, but I think part of it is how long you've been in the hobby and how much you've seen it change and where it's going. And sometimes I just see stuff that I don't understand, and at first you get mad about it, and then you realize it might just be that stay off the lawn moment that happens to all of us. At some point when you get up off the couch, you make a groan noise like you used to hear your grandfather make, I guess maybe. And I've heard that noise. I've made that noise a few times lately, so I don't know if I'm in that realm now.
Yeah.
Arkham Knight. I haven't seen him in a long time.
Arkham Knight.
Yeah.
Oh.
Used to be on ETA Nick's chat a lot on Wednesday nights when Nick ran this.
Oh, okay.
Tonight's unofficial sponsor, and this is kind of in honor of Nick, his favorite.
Guinness Stout.
A nice Guinness Stout. It's got a little ping pong ball in it, and when you open the lid, it changes the pressure, and the ball erupts and carbonates the beer.
Oh, wow.
So when you grab a can of Guinness, you can squeeze the sides in it. It's soft because it's not under pressure yet.
Oh.
So when you're done, hear that? And I've opened it up before and taken it apart. It looks just like a ping pong ball.
Did you bite it?
No, I cut into it though, just to see how it was made. And then what you got to do, you got to wait for it to settle. So it actually looks like it's falling up when you look at it closely. So the beer will settle nice to where you get the nice tan and then all dark bottom, and that's when it's ready. So you got to let it sit. It's a long wait normally.
Over the week, I did see a new Marvel movie that I didn't see previously.
What did you think?
I saw the Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Oh, what did you think?
I liked it.
I did too.
I liked it a lot. I like the Ant-Man movies.
Did you get like a James Bond feel to it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did too.
It had that. It was done really well, I thought.
Yeah, and I think it was one thing that it had, and I think Marvel's been doing that more lately, is more of a almost a sympathetic villain. You kind of felt bad for him, like Ghost in that movie. You kind of felt bad for her.
Yes.
She was a CIA hitman basically, but she didn't have a choice. They held in front of her, we're going to make you better if you do these things.
Yeah, it seems that more and more you're finding out that S.H.I.E.L.D., are a bunch of douchebags.
Yeah, and I hope they don't pull this because it would be super lazy writing if they try to make Nick Fury be through this whole thing be a Skrull.
Oh, geez.
And then that would usher in Secret Invasion. And if Marvel does that's awful. I mean, that's just like you feel like you've been lied to these last 21 movies.
Yeah. So
You know?
what was it? What was it? I was reading. I think TiVo posted it that the deal with Fox won't be complete until June,
Yeah.
and you don't expect to see any of those characters before then. Well, what's before then? You have Avengers Endgame and Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
But I think
Well,
after
you know what,
June,
though? Depending on when the deal's closed, I think the Endgame movie there. I wouldn't be surprised you had 4, 5, maybe even 6 post credit scenes setting up next things.
what is it, like Lord of the Rings?
Yeah, I mean, it just keep coming back. You know, people get halfway down the aisle and they run back in. It's kind of like when people leave a football game when it's way out of line. They get in the parking lot and they hear the score and they run back in.
Well, the one thing I'm wondering is, with the post-credits scene in Endgame, which they're going to have one.
Yeah.
Is it? I'm just hoping it's not like going to be one of those vague post-credit scenes. I hope it's something big to really launch like the next.
Yeah, the next thing. Yeah, if you think back to was it the Avengers? Was it the Avengers first movie where Thanos showed up, where he turned on and he smiled over his shoulder?
Yeah,
the theater erupted when that happened, and you knew where things were going to go. Then you knew all the rest of these movies now were all going to spiral around that, and they did.
I saw that movie with my friend. Who really wasn't much of a comic book person. He liked watching comic book movies. Yeah. And when he's watching it, and he saw him, and he says, "Who the hell is that? The Thing?" I said, "No,
then
that's
you picked
actually."
Up your glasses and said, "Actually, that's Thanos."
I said, "That's Thanos." Before the movie
before
said
we
it
all
was.
learned the right way to say it.
Yeah, I know.
Let's take a minute here. I see Knights of Oldsin. Hello. Oh, Ferris. Or I'm sorry, I was going to call him Ferris Bueller. Comics with Bueller?
Comics with Ferris.
Bueller. I always think of Ben Stein when I see his thing. Metarog's in here. Great. Captain Crunch. Todd Hobeck always wants me to chug. Okay, Todd, here we go.
Let's see how far you can go.
Well, I can finish it, but I don't want to be a pig.
Doesn't matter on the show.
Delicious.
Good, huh?
Oh, it is very. We're 2 in tonight already, so.
All right. Yeah, but I thought the movie was good.
Yeah, Ant-Man, you mean?
Yeah.
And the Wasp, yeah, and it's set up. I think I would watch another one of those.
I'm pretty sure.
Highly entertaining. I think was it Michael Pena character? I think him and his little crew are very funny together.
It's small doses, though.
Yeah. They couldn't carry their own movie, obviously.
No, I mean, for them to be in almost every scene.
I can see Disney still spinning them off into their own Netflix.
Ex-Con, the movie.
Yeah. You could totally see Disney doing that and their funny escapades. I could see that happening. The other thing I was thinking about with Netflix and some of these other things that are kind of getting stale for me is I don't like the serial drop anymore, I realized. And one thing you definitely lose with that is the whole episodic feel of a show. Because I thought back to Punisher, too, and someone will talk about an event that happened during the show. I can't tell you when it happened. I don't remember because, I would typically watch 3, maybe 4 of them in a chunk, and it's basically like you watch a 4-hour-long movie. Or, I remember my son and I, we watched the 2nd season of Stranger Things. I think we watched the last 6 episodes all in a row. We started at 7 o'clock at night, and I don't think we finished 3 in the morning. But it's just one long movie. I think they're missing out on the capital of stretching it out and the anticipation of making it come out weekly. A perfect example of this is this wonderful program we're putting on for you right now.
I know. Yeah. I mean, you realize how many people
would anyone even watch these if we dropped, say we pre-recorded 6 in a row and I dropped them all on a Friday? No one's going to sit down and watch 6 hours of us talking.
People are barely watching us now.
Yeah. Well, you know what? The guy that thumbs down, he would watch it just so he could thumbs down each episode. Take that. Take that.
Yeah.
Mom, internet's down again.
Yeah, and he's 60 years old.
Yeah. Who that's in? He knows movies. Right in his title.
That's right. It's part of his handle.
Yep. So I don't know. I kind of was thinking, I hope Disney does that. I hope that they maybe drop 4 at a time. I don't know. I don't know what the right mix is. I also think that 13 episodes is really too long for some of these seasons.
Yeah, a lot of them, they could go, like you said, 8.
8 sounds like a good number to me.
Yeah, you trim a lot of the fat.
Yeah, there's just a lot. Like you think of the Punisher and some of the storylines that were on in there that went nowhere, and I don't need to see this. I don't care about some of this stuff. And
I mean, Luke Cage could have went 3 episodes, and that would have been good.
Yeah, I think 4. I think it had 4. Really, if you condensed them down, it would have had 4. Jessica Jones, second season, I think 4 episodes were really good.
I mean, they have Jessica Jones season 3 coming out, right?
Yeah, and that'll probably be it. I think that'll be the end of Netflix at that point.
I didn't see, I saw maybe an episode or 2 of the second season of Jessica Jones, and I just couldn't get into it.
Yeah, I kind of enjoyed it. I like that actor that played the mom. Some people didn't like her, but she's very menacing. She's also in Ozark. She plays the attorney in Ozark. She's very tall, and she just is very stern and abrupt. It just scary, a legitimate scary character in that show, I thought.
Yeah. I'm just I just couldn't get into it as much. It's not really mine.
The Defenders could have been great, and part of it, I think all of us overhyped it in our heads, but it seemed to me it was more like it was season 2 of Iron Fist more than anything.
Well, Defenders probably should have been Iron Fist.
Yeah.
But the thing is, though, with Defenders, though, again, it was going over a storyline that's already seemed watered down at that point.
Yeah.
I mean, how much are we going to talk about the hand and all that stuff? I mean, after a while, it's just like, oh, come on. It was good for a little. It was good in Daredevil season 2.
Yeah.
After that, it was really stretching it out, and I was like, ugh. And some of the points that Nick made about it were true. Very true about it by the time you got to Defenders.
Yeah.
It just was just.
It's just incredible to me that how good and rich the source material is, and we ended up with what we ended up with.
Yeah.
And, some people say, "Oh, low budget," but I look at shows like Legion, and I guarantee Legion FX had probably the same or less budget than any of the Netflix shows, and it was fantastic.
So what do you think's going to happen with these shows now? Now when they're all going to be canceled or have been canceled, what do you think's going to happen to these characters? You think Disney's going to do something with them on their streaming network?
I could see them doing something with Nick or Luke Cage and Iron Fist together, but not the same actors. Getting new actors, rebooting it. I don't see Disney, although I don't know. I guess they own Deadpool at this point, but I don't see him doing a homicidal maniac show again. With the Punisher. Season 2 was incredibly gory, but I'm not complaining. It was entertaining as hell, but it was really gory, and I don't see Disney putting their mouse logo on that.
So what does that mean?
Jessica Jones is way too rough for Disney. I think I don't see them, putting it on there either. So. I don't know. I think you could see characters, but sometimes the fans are going to get pissed because you take a character like Moon Knight, who's extremely kind of a cult character, and at least from my experience, people that are Moon Knight is their favorite character, they're not really part of mainstream Marvel. They don't really read that much Marvel. They kind of focus on Moon Knight. So you might get Moon Knight, but be careful what you wish for, because you might get Moon Knight, and you might get it, Mickey Mouse style. He may get watered down. Because if you look at the stories of Moon Knight, they're rough. I mean, it's he's his whole psyche, everything with that. It's going to be, I think, tough material for Disney to deal with. Well, I think it'd be great, and I'm sure anyone that's got Werewolf by Night 32 would love it as well.
Oh yeah, of course. But I'm interested to see what goes on with Disney and these series.
If you're ready, I'm ready. I'm going to send another invite out to somebody who would probably love to weigh in on this stay off my lawn conversation.
Well, I can't imagine who.
Well, I just sent him the invite, so if you're in the chat, you should see it. Let me know if it works. But then I was thinking about other characters that I could see. They tried Cloak and Dagger. That didn't go well, that I know of.
Yeah, I couldn't care less about Cloak and Dagger.
Yeah, I could see Disney, and maybe they'll be good at this. No one's been good at this yet, to be able to link the big screen and the small screen.
Yeah, that would be good.
Nobody's been able to do it, and I think if anyone can do it, Disney can.
I'm very interested
with some of their kid programming, and where they'll have a kid that starts as a TV star, and then they elevate them up, and they become they'll do a movie about him, or the actors themselves will become famous simply because they're part of the Disney engine.
Yeah.
If you think about it, how nice would it be if Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. had any kind of good linkage and decent flow from the movies to this? They could have cleared up loose ends. And I think too a little bit about like Spider-Man: Homecoming with the whole the Michael Keaton character, how his whole business was cleaning up after the incident in New York, and that could have been much better done, or could have been even further fleshed out on the small screen. So I hope they go that direction. You hear Loki and people like this are getting shows, and I don't know.
What are you going to do with that, though?
I don't know. I don't know. I wish him well. I'm glad I don't have to write for that show.
I mean, I'm just thinking about, okay, you want to do a show about Black Widow. Okay, I could see that, on her adventures and her spying and all that. But then you got to do a show on Loki. Well, what's the whole season? Him tricking everybody? Where are you going with it?
That's a character too I see. I read in the internet, and people are upset about that. If he is really dead, that's sad. But do they not remember Avengers 1? He killed. I think they actually said the number, like 43 people by the time they caught him. It's like, okay, so it's all funny. Like for all they know, he killed Coulson. So they can all joke about it, and he's their friend now. I don't.
Another thing about the
that scene to me didn't mean much. I was kind of glad when he died. I don't like him. I don't like the actor, so I don't like Tom Wilson.
Well, my wife really likes the actor, so she was pretty upset that he died in the first scene, first few scenes. But yeah, right. But what I find interesting is, when that Spider-Man Far From Home trailer dropped, and you have all these people saying, "Oh yeah, Mysterio, he's teaming up with Spider-Man." I'm saying to myself, are you an idiot?
Yeah.
Don't you see that maybe this is probably an illusion that he's creating? You
don't know what he does, right? It's right in his name.
Do you know who Mysterio is? I'm like, oh my God! It's just like little things like that. That's my get off my lawn moment.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I have it.
Oh, he's starting off as a good guy. I wouldn't be surprised if that whole thing's an illusion.
Yeah, a fever dream.
Something. But I mean,
that Peter Parker wakes up in a tent with Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, and a bloody asshole.
Yikes! Ding, 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 ding. I should have put that into tonight's description. Anyway, is it working? Okay, John said if you're reading this, so he's not coming in.
That's all right.
Yeah,
he'll figure it out.
Yeah, but I felt that you'd definitely be a good contributor to this segment. So, and it's more than just the movies and stuff. I look at the new comics that have come out, and I've looked at a few of them. The new Punisher looked kind of okay. I didn't like the way it ended. They can't let go of that whole social justice warrior thing. They just can't let go of it, and I don't understand it. Again, maybe this is me being have a stay off my lawn moment, but
I the only two books I collect, and honestly, I've stopped reading them.
Yeah,
Batman and Detective. Those are the only two things that I collect. I do not collect anything else that's new.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I used to buy some stuff, but then I was like, why am I buying this? This is just, and most of the stuff wasn't even Marvel.
Yeah.
I
right now I'm not reading any Marvel. I hung in there with 2 and 1. I really enjoyed that. Probably the first 6 issues. Fantastic Four, I was so excited about it, but then that first issue with the whole, the karaoke stuff, and that just.
And you're just like, yep.
Yeah,
dreams crushed.
You aren't even in it, and I just like, you know what? Nope. And I wasn't excited about it anyway because Dan Slott's writing it, so I think he's a hack, and I don't know. Again, it's another stay off my lawn. So I've come backwards. I'm reading Challenge of the Unknown from the 50s. I also at the same time I'm reading Moonshine, which I really like. I like Brian Azzarello's writing. I like his pacing. I like everything about that. The artwork is very stark and different. So I do seem, and it might just be because I'm older or because I've read so many superhero type books that I've been drawn to non-superhero stuff, I guess. So.
Oh yeah, I like the non-superhero stuff.
I'll be joining you guys on the dark side over on EC. I've been watching a lot of DS's videos. He's had some really good stuff. He had a great video today on scams.
Yeah, I saw that one where someone was trying to sell a book. They just lifted the photo right off of my comic shop. Ding, 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 red flag.
Yeah, if you can't zoom in on it right away, whether it's a scam or not, that's just a shitty buy or seller to me. So I get right off of it. If they don't show back cover, just silly stuff like that. I inquired about a book yesterday. It was a scan, and the case looked cracked to me on the bottom right. So I messaged the guy, and he's like, no, it's a scanner. So I'm like, okay. And he put that in the description. Thanks for bringing it to my attention. I thought, okay, take another picture. But he didn't. It's the same picture. It still looks cracked to me. And it's not a cheap book. So I don't know. I just instant unwatch. I'm not going to, life's too short to deal with that. So,
So, yeah.
Someone just said Immortal Hulk is great. All right. The covers look really good. I was, it kind of sucked through the way that they took all of the great heroes and replaced them all with, they felt the need to with younger, changed gender, changed ethnicity, all of this stuff. It's scary to me.
It's like I said, I don't read any of the newer stuff.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Whatever that's out there is out there for everybody else.
I guess I just don't get it. I do listen to brand new music, but I don't necessarily listen to the pop music. So I've always been that way. So.
Whoa! Look at this handsome fellow.
Look at that. The scary thing is that is a handsome picture right there.
Back by popular demand. I bring you.
Oh, no. We'd introduce him, but he needs no introduction.
John Lennon needs no introduction.
He's back from the house. And he's styling a new hairstyle.
And he's smiling too.
I think is a little bit. They say that what is it? The most sincere form of flattery, right? I copied his white beard, so I guess my haircut was fair game, huh?
Well, I'm here anyway, y'all. So thanks for having me.
So did you catch any of the stuff we said so far?
No.
Oh, well, perfect. We were just talking about how much the hobby has changed, and how, as collectors that have been in the hobby for over 30 years, we are frequently having stay off my lawn moments, looking at comments or videos, or just paying attention to the media and the way the hobby is right now. Comics and movies and TV shows.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't have any moments like that.
Oh, anyway, what kind of beverage are you having this evening? You still on the Diet Coke kick?
Diet Coke.
Oh, okay.
All right then. It's not Irished up in any way?
No. I think I have a beer or two in there, but I'm not really in the mood for one. So.
All right.
I just woke up a few minutes ago.
Oh, excellent.
So you're fully charged.
Well, I wouldn't say that, but I'm fully something or other.
Yeah. Well, I know recently you were gifted a bunch of movies, John. What is the most recent of them have you seen? Have you seen the Infinity War?
Yeah, that was actually the most recent was the Infinity Gauntlet. Which I loved it. I've watched it like 6 times.
Yeah, I watched it again the other night. Saturday night, I watched it again.
It's really fine entertainment.
Yeah.
I mean, as soon as the thing started, I thought, now all this looks kind of familiar, but not really.
Yeah.
But it didn't really matter to me because I just kind of got right into it. And I just thought the film was so well done. The script was so well written. Everything.
Did you at times find yourself kind of rooting for Thanos?
Oh, the whole way through the picture.
I know. I was watching too. I'm like, what's wrong with me?
No, not at all. I was waiting for him to kill Tony Stark.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like praying for that.
Yeah. I thought
there's something wrong with me. There must be something wrong with me.
Yeah.
When the final thing happened and everyone turned to dust.
Yeah.
There was a little part of me that just went, yeah, bitches.
I know. I had that same moment. I thought, what's wrong with me?
Really?
Oh, God, I'm rooting for a villain.
I root for the villains all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you know what? It wasn't like it was for personal gain or anything. He truly believes it. He's like a priest. This is what he believes. And he went for it. And you can't fault his plan was awesome. He didn't mince around. He didn't screw around at all.
Yeah, Dr. Von Thanos.
That should be your new. That's what you need now, John. You need a glove with like some bling on it.
No, Thanos needs my glasses.
Weird though is after I saw it too, I'm trying to think of where do they go from here? How do you? They don't even know where he is. They don't. I mean, it's incredible. It's like, if you think of like the Olympians trying to make war with the gods, they were up on Mount Olympus. They couldn't get to him. So I mean, they were like ants on the street to him. So I don't know, where they're going to go with this. It's exciting, actually.
They have Robert Downey Jr. He'll figure it out.
Yeah, he'll lead the way.
Well, and apparently, from if you read the interwebs, they claim that Captain Marvel is going to be the powerhouse that's going to come through and save the day. So, we'll see.
That chick, that ain't Captain Marvel.
That ain't Captain Marvel. That's not my Captain Marvel. Yeah.
Captain Marvel, my ass.
Yeah. Yeah. I always be Miss Marvel to me. I don't see anything wrong with that. I mean, right on the cover, I love that underneath her tagline it says, she fights, this one fights back, and I thought that was a great tagline.
Yeah, but it doesn't seem to be PC.
I think it is, though. I think that's really. I mean, there used to be a magazine called Miss, right?
I think
they came out during that whole movement. It seemed like it dovetailed in perfectly. They ruined that character in Avengers 200 when they made her get raped by her son.
Oh, jeez, that was weird. Story? That was weird.
Yeah, that was she. I was one of my favorite characters through the Bronze Age, and then they did that, and I'm just like, what the hell? What?
Well, then Rogue took all her powers.
Yeah. I mean, it was a super whammy. And it just, I don't know. It just, and the way the whole thing was just glossed over by the Avengers too. And that was right around the same time George Perez left. And I think 202 he left, or 203 maybe. And then by 204, 205, I collected it, but I lost interest in the book.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry I bailed on it then, because I left around 161, 162 or something like that.
Oh, that was one of my favorite runs in there. Where you had Count Bavaria, and you had stuff. Yeah, I mean, you had the whole thing with Dr. Doom and Atuma and all that with the Atlantis. I thought that was all really well done. You had Wonder Man coming back alive. There was
the Wonder Man thing. Yes, I remember that well.
Yeah, Wonder Man and Vision fighting. I remember when I was a kid, that was an epic thing because that had been brewing for months. You were.
I remember. Yeah.
And you were a young kid. That whole concept of the whole love triangle thing with your characters was kind of cool. Looks like I have it on live here, and it looks like either we dropped or something's not right.
What's wrong?
No, there it is. Okay, I thought the feed went down.
No, we're
just on my phone.
No, we're moving right along.
Hey, we got 2 thumbs down, and my only guess is I have you 2 on with me. So
one for me and one for Anthony.
It was BYO.
That's right. Yeah, I've had my stalker follow me for God knows how long, but that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine. It gives them something to do.
They're kind of fun.
Yeah. It brightens your day.
And it brightens their day too.
Yeah.
So
if you got all thumbs up, you wouldn't know if you were doing great or not. If people were just being nice to you.
Yeah.
And I certainly wouldn't want to remove whether or not I could see a thumbs up or thumbs down.
No.
I can't.
That can be done. I hear.
I heard.
You can turn comments off. You can do all kinds of fun stuff.
Yes.
What's weird is sometimes you see these big channels and they don't answer comments, and I understand because they can get 3,000-4,000 comments. There's no way they can comment. But some of these smaller channels, they start off as if they're a big channel. Like some of these guys that have 200 or 300 or less subs, I noticed some of them never reply to their to anyone that says something.
Yeah, I've noticed that with.
But they're mostly, you don't see them. They're more like TV show type things, to where like they'll talk about the history of a comic book and you just hear a voice. It's narrated. You don't see anybody, and they never comment. It's just that they just grow. Or there's other ones too that like Comic Buying, I think his name is. his channel is kind of cool. I mean, he shows everything he buys, and it's mostly just like us. It's just some guys talking. You never see him though, but I don't think he's ever commented to anybody on anything. So
yeah, I don't know. I haven't been watching as much. You know? I go through phases. Sometimes I'll watch a lot. Sometimes I don't, depending on how busy I get. So, bottoms up.
Yeah, that was my last Guinness too, unfortunately. So,
John, I got some eye candy for you.
Oh, you do?
This will be in the April haul. So for the 22, 21, 23 people that are watching, consider yourselves lucky to see this.
This is a sneak preview.
There's the third thumbs down coming.
Yeah, coming. Say something, Anthony, so you get brought to the front.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
By Mr. Feldstein himself.
No. Oh,
it's a romantic cover.
It is.
Yeah, they're very kind of hugged up there, eh?
That's what I like about it. You know, it's like us. You know, we would like if we met, we'd hug, and you know, we'd probably fall into quicksand.
Yeah. And then one would chew the other one's face.
Exactly. See, this is what I'm talking about.
Here, I can't see the live chat either. What's going on here?
I don't know.
Hey, well, that's great, but I for some reason I thought you already had that book though.
No.
I don't know what I was thinking, but
no, I have 23. I held off on this one for a while, and then I said to myself, "It's time to make the move on 24," and I did. Mm-hmm. And here it is.
Wow, great, man, great. Yeah. I'm happy for you.
Yeah. Oh, but don't forget this one, John. Still on my wall. Oh,
yikes!
Still on the wall.
Yeah.
Still awesome book.
Yeah, that is a killer book, man. Yeah. Always.
Last week we had DS Comics on. And he talked a little bit about, well, not a little bit, a lot about pre-code and all that stuff. So it was cool to have a little conversation about this sort of stuff last week. You know?
Yeah, the pre-code horror stuff for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
I know I learned a lot. It's something that I've kind of avoided, I think, because once you dive into that, you want more and more of them, and it's not like Bronze Age books or even some of the newer Silver Age books that you can get for under $300 or $200. Generally, those EC books are $400 or $500 a piece.
Yeah, I mean, and considering that there are some other pre-codes out there that are really expensive, one might say $200, $300, $400 is kind of cheap.
It is.
Maybe it is. Yeah. But to the average comic book collector that is into the movies, like we were talking about, into the TV shows, they're not going to spend $200, $300, $400 on a EC book.
Yeah.
Because to them, that's like the first appearance of Jon Stewart, a decent copy. That's the first appearance of a superhero type book. They're not going to spend it on Tales from the Crypt 24. Who makes their first appearance in this? No one.
I think the other thing.
What's the significance of this? Nothing. Fuck that.
Yeah. And there's the moment we're having, and this is what I wanted to bring John on for too, is how many of these, because they're on a TV show or because they're in a movie, characters have ramped up and people have really dove into and bought. And I mean, where are those characters now? Where are those books now? The big one I want to track is Miss Marvel or Carol Danvers' first appearance there.
I think that one took a dip.
Yeah, it did. I think the Black Panther first appearance has taken a huge dip since I can at least seeing it live at shows how much it's gone down.
What about what are they? The Fantastic Four 45.
Oh yeah, the Inhumans. Yeah, that's probably half of what it was at one point.
Yeah, good Lord, yeah. All that stuff is going to take a dip eventually.
Yeah.
I mean, really, personally, I can't see any character in any of the Marvel movies or the DC movies, for that matter, just turning into some kind of phenomenon because of the movie. I really can't see that. I mean, whomever we have in the movies now are in the movies because they're already popular, and Spider-Man, X-Men, Captain America, no one particular movie is going to create the next Wolverine.
Right,
in the comic book world, in the realm of comic book collecting hobby. It's not going to happen like that. So you're just going to see these forever little spikes and dips and spikes and dips. And quite frankly, and that's only for, I think, maybe a select few characters with staying power. It's not gonna work that way for Captain Marvel or Ms. Marvel or whatever her name is.
I mean, the only one out there that could probably do it if they did it right, and that's going to be hard because they failed so much, is the Fantastic Four.
Well, here's the thing:
it's a rich history and is so beloved. I know, John, and you probably remember this. Back in the 70s, the late 70s, early 80s, there wasn't a bigger character out there than the Thing.
Good Lord, no, yeah.
He was almost as much in the public eye as the figurehead of Marvel as Spider-Man was.
Yeah.
And people might not think that or say, nah. I lived through it. Believe me, I know it was. He was everywhere. The Thing's face and persona was all omnipresent. It was everywhere.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. Yeah.
The only character that I think, who would have appeared in some form of media, because of the media became a phenomenon, was Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
That was the only character that
I mean, and you have all of the Gwen Stacy spin-off characters that.
The Gwenpool and the dead Gwen or whatever the fuck her name is.
Whatever they end up with.
I never liked that character.
Venom, I mean, but I could see because that to me is Marvel's Harley Quinn.
Yeah, I mean, true.
Yeah.
True. I mean, but the only character, like I said, was that I noticed that media made a phenomenon was Harley Quinn, and then when she was in the comics, and obviously from there. Mm-hmm. But like what John was saying, like Captain Marvel or Ms. Marvel, it's not going to become a phenomenon because of a movie or whatever. I mean, it's just eventually everything takes a dip.
Yeah.
There was a big interest in her about a year ago, and the book spiked. It's still pretty expensive. Mm-hmm. But I think it has softened a little bit.
On the DC side, I don't know that they've tapped into everybody that they could and do them the right way. I do
probably not.
Following for like Swamp Thing, I think people would really get into.
He already had 2 movies.
Yeah.
Personally, I would kill for a really good Swamp Thing movie.
Yeah, if they just went through issues 1 through 9 and they followed that 1 through 9 and made like 3 movies out of those 9 issues, I think it'd be fantastic.
Fabulous. Yeah. Or round 2, the reboot, you can do segments of the Alan Moore.
Yeah, the Alan Moore run as well. Yeah, I think that would be great.
Goodness.
That's an entertaining character, and I think it could be done
interesting,
right now.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
It's not a character you hear of that often.
No,
at all, really. I mean, we know he exists, but imagine if Swamp Thing appeared in some form in a movie, a good DC movie. I think a lot of people are like, whoa, who the fuck is that?
Yeah,
that's Swamp Thing. Oh my god, I love Swamp Thing.
If they did a reboot of Batman too.
Aren't they rebooting it again?
A character in one of those, or I think one of the great characters that Batman that they don't use, I think would be entertaining as hell for me, is I think of the animated series of Batman. It was a 2-parter with the Man-Bat in it, and
they
just took that and fleshed it out and made a movie on that, and they didn't Batman's backstory. I don't want to see him in the street crying over mommy and daddy getting shot. I don't give a flying about it anymore. Dive right into the story. That's everyone says. How did Marvel fix Spider-Man? They didn't show his damn origin story for the 50th time. We don't know.
How many times do I have to see?
Bit by a damn spider. Move on with the stories. In Fantastic Four, I don't want to see him in a rocket. I don't want to know about that. Don't show me Doctor Doom. Get right into it. Just get into it.
Yeah, I don't want to see Doctor Doom in the same rocket as the Fantastic Four. I mean, that doesn't make sense.
No, I don't want to see it. And don't make it be that him and Sue had something going on, and there was a love triangle.
He and Johnny had something going on.
Yeah. No, Johnny and the Iceman. That makes sense. Him and Bobby Drake. Fire and ice, right? Let's make some theme.
Is that going to be like in the next movie?
It will be. Yeah. No. So, but that, I think you're right, and I guess I've never understood the whole, hey, they're coming up in a movie and the price jacks up. Because back when I collected, the price went up because the book was super popular. Like
because the book's successful.
Yeah, because of the combination of John Byrne and Chris Claremont together was just magic, and that run was so good. And
but now, Patrick, what made the book go up back when you were younger? The formula now has become what makes the book go up because of the movies. It's the movies now. The movies and the TV show, they drive everything now.
Yeah.
That's the way it seems. That's the way it seems.
And that's my stay off my lawn moment is, I guess that's the way the hobby's going. I don't care. I only care when it affects my books. Like I'm chasing Tales of Suspense 39, and that book probably should be around $2,000, I think, for a 3.0, 3.5.
But what's so odd about that book, Patrick, Tales of Suspense 39, were all the Iron Man shit that was in media for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
That book is still relatively cheap.
It really is.
Depending on obviously the grade and all that stuff, it's still relatively cheap. So, but I go back to again what John said. Granted that book went up because of the movies and all that stuff, but it's not in the range of a Golden Age Batman villain or anything like that. It's still relatively cheap. Hell, my restored Riddler is probably worth more than a 3.0 Tales of Suspense 39.
Yeah,
it just goes to show though that it's not something spectacular.
Yeah.
And everything, stuff like that can soften a bit. I mean, it's still expensive, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But it probably, you would think with all this hype and this media, it would be more expensive than what it is. But it's not.
Mm-hmm. I think the biggest thing and a big challenge too for Marvel now is they've been so successful with everything. And part of that is because they've had, 60, 70 years of continuity to work with. Mm-hmm. The newer stories, at least since really Civil War, that was the last, I think, big event that Marvel had that worked well. I have read all the other ones. I don't think they're very good. I don't think they'll hold water in a movie. So, where do you go from here? And that's why X-Men has a huge, rich history, provided that they ignore that other stuff ever happened.
Well, I was actually going to do a video on my thoughts on what should be done with the next X-Men movies.
Yeah.
I'll make that video, but it's not predictions. It's not what I think they're going to do or anything like that. What the fuck do I know? I don't know anything. Yeah. But it's probably as an X-Men fan where I think they should go with it, which would entertain me. Mm-hmm. But it's funny you mentioned that because, they have a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they've even scratched the surface on the Avengers stories. You still have Kang.
That's true.
I think Kang could make a great two-movie series.
Well, aren't they supposed to? Don't you think they're going to be going intergalactic with the next phase with the Eternals and eventually the Fantastic Four, probably the Silver Surfer?
I could see a Nihilist coming in, and that makes sense for how they bring the Fantastic Four in. I think bringing them in, and they've been good about this. If you think about like how they brought Black Panther in, he didn't start with his own movie; he showed up in the Captain America movie. And some of the characters are like that. They just kind of bring them in that way. I think that's the better way to bring a character in. And that's what it's done in comic books. It was rare when a guy got a first issue was also their first appearance.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nova.
Nova, I think will be one because they've already alluded to the fact that that planet was destroyed. So it would make sense that maybe one survived and he's the one that had all the power. So, and that fits into the Annihilation Wave storyline. So that would I could see that happening too.
You're right, though. What other great big storyline could they do?
No, it's hard. I mean, when you go this hard and you spend 21 movies basically building your way up to this, not solely, but every single movie had a little piece of this in it. It's hard to outdo yourself, and maybe you don't. Maybe you don't outdo yourself. Maybe you just go back to street level or Earth type stories because there's still a lot of great stories there to tell.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, they probably have a good idea where they're going to go and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. They would know better than me.
I would think so. I would hope so. I mean, I think Kevin Feige is the main reason that this has gone so well because you got one guy steering the main ship.
Yeah.
If you look at the Marvel, the publishing company, they painted themselves in the corner with all these events that they've done.
Secret Wars 2.
Yeah,
how many Secret Wars were there? After a while, it's not so secret.
I don't know. It's a secret, I guess. DC has rebooted themselves to death, to the point to every time they've rebooted, they've picked up some new people, but they lost more than they picked up. So I don't know. I don't know where they go from here. I'm glad I'm not an executive for either company. Because the answer isn't rebooting, but I don't see any other way at this point, because there's so much, canon built in now. And how do you erase all that? Would you come out and say none of that really ever happened? None of that was real?
Well, I'm just curious how DC's going to reboot for the movie.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess, Batman, Ben Affleck's out.
Yeah.
Are they going to just reboot him? Is it going to be a younger Batman? Are they keeping, I don't know. It's just like they've
painted themselves into a corner.
Yeah, they tripped as they were chasing Marvel.
It was a good, bad thing that Aquaman was so well received, because I do think they had intentions of just dialing it back and redoing the whole thing. But now what do you do? Because Wonder Woman, everyone loves that actress.
Yeah.
Aquaman was, pretty successful, well received, and really no one was expecting it to do much, and it turned out to do really well. So. What do you do?
It did well because they turned him into Aqua Douche. All that fucking hair and all that dumb
shit. Cut your hair, you draft dodging hippie.
Yeah, you
damn. You commie.
Well, I mean, that movie, look, I didn't see it, but it looked pretty cool, with the Ocean Master and Black Manta.
Let's be serious. That's not Aquaman.
Well,
they can call him Arthur and try to build in this backstory. They can put the suit on him for the posters. That's not Aquaman. That's Wolverine swimming in the ocean.
It's some guy that's down here at the corner bar getting drunk on beer. That's what Aqua Douche is.
Yeah,
it's exactly what it reminds me of. Some guy here in Middletown that just walks around all day, doesn't have a job, looking for money for cigarettes and alcohol, and that's what he's doing right now. He's sitting down here at the corner drinking beer and going, "Hey, what's up, baby?" Hey.
Maybe he's hanging out.
And I think the actor's cool. I mean,
John, though, cool guy. Maybe the guy is hanging at the corner waiting for the Pink Pussycat to open up again.
Yeah, to reopen. I know I am, John. I'm waiting for that phone call. You got to tell me when that place opens. Actually, I think you should come out of retirement, John, and you should open that place.
You should open it. Yeah.
Oh,
run it the right way.
Pussycat.
Yep.
Let me inform my parents right away. I'm sure that they'll be very excited.
Very proud of their son. Hey, you know what? Maybe you can get some of the old dancers to come back. I'm sure they're hot still.
They got a voice like Lucille Ball when she was 16.
Daddy, come give me a 20.
Oh God! Yeah, she breaks her hip as she's giving you a lap dance.
Oh my God.
Yikes! Here, can you hold my prosthetic leg?
Yeah, really.
She's like, "Will you like other things?" And she pulls out her dentures.
Oh my goodness.
Here's $20 for a gum job, Johnny.
Yeah, well, I've had a couple have to take their dentures out, man. It's all right. No shame in my game.
I think whatever. I probably just offended people that were looking at this. So sorry, everybody.
Sorry, we were talking about dentures and.
Yeah. Get off my lawn. Here, let's
get off my lawn. Stay off my lawn. I'm gonna go to the LCS on Wednesdays and just yell at all these kids. You're buying garbage. Back in my day, I'll sit in a lawn chair. I'll get a big hat and a big sunscreen on my nose.
That ain't awful, man.
Yeah. We didn't need welfare when I was a kid. Our comics are written on newspaper. You get a cut from it. You're happy to get it.
Yeah.
We didn't have them glossy pansy pages. No, but I kind of feel bad for the guys because they didn't get to experience comics like we did. Wednesdays is now the day, but when I was younger, it was either Saturday or Sunday where you generally went in and got your books. And there was guys in there. People were hyped up and excited about the comics. And granted, there was really only 2 companies back then. I mean, you saw Charlton and a few of these other companies kind of limping along, but it was mostly Marvel, DC. And when I read it, there was maybe 5 titles in DC that anyone was reading, and it was mostly Marvel through the late 70s and early 80s. And it just was such a great time to be part of comics. And they were more of an event and more excited. And part of that is I was younger. But now I feel bad for these guys. You have a pull list of 10 books, and that's a lot of money, right?
Yeah, that's $3.99 on average.
Yeah, so I know I had 20 books on my pull list usually. So 20 times 4, I mean, it's $80 a month. That's more than I paid for my internet. So.
That's a lot, and I hear so many people bitching about the quality. I don't know if I want to read this anymore. This book sucks.
And it's hard to follow. I mean, reboots never happened. I mean, you would have sometimes you have weird things happen, like a title would change its title, like Journey into Mystery '83, and then it became Thor. And you had that Tales of Suspense. That same thing happened, and all of those those kind of things happened. Doctor Strange took over Strange Tales, but you didn't have hard reboots where you had these number ones every 18 months. And it's got to be like, if you look now, I can remember looking at price guides, you'd have volume 1, and you didn't really even notice volume because that's all there was. There was only volume 1. You'll go look at Avengers. What volume are they on now? Like 11?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you're right.
And how do you follow that convoluted history and what was real and what got retconned? And when you retcon things like that, you devalue the books that came before it. So that's got to be in the back of your mind now when you're plunking down $4 for a book. It's like 2 months from now, is this story even going to be real? I mean, I think of the Black Panther. Right around the movie, they relaunched that book, and it got canceled after 2 issues, I think. So how do you even get someone interested in a book if they're not sure it's even going to be around in a couple months?
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's too much rebooting for me.
Yeah, and I feel bad for the guys that didn't get to have that. And I talked about a little bit before about how why reason a lot of us have gotten back into the hobby or still in it is because of that feeling, the nostalgia you get about the collecting. And one, you can't buy that feeling, and 2, I feel bad for the guys nowadays because this is there now. This is when I was getting my nostalgia when I collected my first 10 years of collecting. This is what they have. This is what they're dealing with. This is what they're getting. Now, yes, they have awesome movies and they have video games and stuff like that, and it's omnipresent, but the stories aren't there. And 10 years from now, is anyone going to give a crap about the book that came out today?
No.
You know what I mean? The Avengers book, is anyone going to be talking about? They're still talking about, Fantastic Four, 49, 48. How long ago did those come out?
Right.
So yeah, I think that would be, if I was writing Fantastic Four, that's the storyline I would start with.
Start Galactus?
With the Watcher coming, because they've already alluded to the Watchers in the cutscenes with Stan Lee, and they did it in a jokey fashion, but they still were there. That to me seems like that's how you start the Fantastic Four series off, is with that. That would be series. Fine by me. Yeah, that's fine. And this time he's not a stupid cloud. Galactus is in a cloud. He's what he is. Because you said before, what could you do that would top Thanos? And to me, Galactus, when he show up in a comic book, when you're a kid, you're like, oh no, this is bad.
It's on.
Yeah. Everyone could literally die, and you didn't want them to.
Well, we'll see what they do. We'll see exactly what they do. I mean, it's exciting, though. It is exciting. In 2 months' time,
it is, and that's the other thing about it. I can sit here and we can sit here and pontificate what we want to happen, what we think is going to happen, but it'll just be interesting to see what happens. And in my wildest dreams, if you went back in time and told 10-year-old me that we were going to have the movies that we have now, I would be beyond excited. So,
so would I.
As much as I maybe don't like these Netflix shows, I just appreciate that someone's making them.
Yeah, I mean, if you would have told me back then, like, we would have all these Avengers movies, I'd be like, what? Avengers? Why don't we have X-Men?
Yeah. Well, that's why I remember when Iron Man first came out as a comic collector, I'm like, what? They're making Iron Man? That's the movie they're going to go with?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
And, good for them. It was a perfect choice. And it rekindled John's love of Robert Downey Jr.
Robert Downey Jr. is the man.
John, have you ever seen Less Than Zero?
Yes.
Yeah, he plays the character Julian in that. So
Julian, yeah.
If you want to see him at his lowest, watch that movie again.
Less than zero.
Yeah.
Less Than Zero, yeah.
Well, I mean, the first thing I saw him in was, I think, Weird Science.
Yeah, he was in Weird Science. He was in a movie called Johnny Be Good.
Back to School with Rodney Dangerfield.
Yeah.
I remember that.
That's funny that you even mentioned that, because I was lying upstairs on my bed watching, or rather napping, to Back to School with Rodney Dangerfield before I came on the chat.
Yeah, that's a classic.
Weird,
I love that movie. I used to watch it all the time when I was a kid. That and Pickup Artist.
Oh, Diaz, let's go back. I see Vincenzo C's here. Hey, Metarog, Roger hung in here the whole time. I see DS Comics.
It's almost, we're 4 minutes away from 8. Time is flown.
Oh, hey, Alex showed up. Hey, bud. I don't know. Usually I think he's out running during this time.
I got to run after this.
Chris Rose. I haven't seen him for a while. Hey. I think he followed John on. Well, most of the guys hung in there. You know what? Maybe we don't get a ton of people watching, but when they tune in, they stay for the whole thing. So it's our own little secret comic speakeasy, I guess.
That's right.
John, how goes your project? Bagging.
My bagging?
Yeah, remylaring. You were remylaring and kind of reassessing your entire collection.
Oh, that's well, the reassessment continues.
Yes.
I'll probably be reassessing till the day I die, but I mean, everything that is in my collection proper is in Mylar.
Yeah.
But actually, quite frankly, I haven't done too much the last couple of weeks. I've kind of let everything comic book go. I've just kind of let everything go, take a step back for the last few weeks. So
I think that's good to do every now and again.
Yeah. You have to. You really do. I think I was just feeling claustrophobic or something with wintertime, and I'm in the house 24 hours a day. And
cabin fever.
Getting cabin fever is right. And I just needed to break away from all the routines, and comic books and YouTube and all that kind of stuff was something I had to.
I started construction on my basement. Everything's been torn out, so I'm starting from raw concrete and cinder block walls, and I ripped all the electric out, all the plumbing out, so everything's getting all redone. And it's great because I kind of have an area now where I'm going to have my comic book area, and I'm going to put a big TV up and lounge chairs and stuff like that, and I'll be able to, instead of just have my comic books in one area, I have them there, but I'm also going to have all the materials that, my cleaning station and pressing station and all that stuff, and get all that done. All in, my eBay station will all be right there. So it'll be nice, it'd be nice to have one place, and I won't have to come out of boxes, and I can start shooting videos on a regular, like I was for a long time. So,
well, I don't know where you get your energy, man, but more power to you.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's rubbing off a mic.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of Mike, one of our big shipments is due in Saturday. So there's a chance that, and I got to talk with Mike about it, but we'd like to maybe do a live unboxing on Wednesday night next week. So it's the value tier. So books in that tier have to be a minimum of $400. So there's an entire box filled of them. And I know some of the books that are in there, so it's going to be pretty excited. We haven't looked at the grades. We don't know how we're going to do, so it'll be a blind like we always do. And this time there won't be any editing, so
tune in live.
Tune in, because if something goes sideways, you'll get to see Mike cry live on TV.
He has like a whole compilation of Mike crying. He had to edit out.
I do. The box of tissues ready to go. But I don't think so. I think he'll do very good.
You might use that box. The box of tissues might be used for twofold.
Yeah.
If you got, if it's sad, you use it for tears. If it's really, really good, you might have to wipe something else off.
I have to get one of those shields like they put on salad bars. Oh, look at it. Someone says do a Wednesday night raffle.
Yeah, right.
I see a bunch of people still on here.
Hey.
Wait, I don't think we answered any questions. Anyone send anything in? I didn't get any questions this week.
No, I didn't get any. Not that I
No
know.
one ever asked me anything.
They should be asking Dr. Von Schiller questions.
I did buy a book, John, that I know you own and you like a lot. And it was supposed to be here, but it was signature only, and I wasn't home, so that'll have to wait.
181.
What's that?
Hulk 181.
Oh no! It's not that book. That's your favorite, though. I know.
Maybe next time for that.
It's another book that I think that every collector should have. It's especially if you're a Marvel collector.
Yeah, you definitely want to sniff the panties on this one.
Yeah.
If you catch my drift.
You know what's funny? I bet almost anyone that watches these or watches any of our channels, anytime they get a CGC book and they pull that sleeve off there, I guarantee they hear John's voice in their head. Off go the panties.
I hear John's voice in my head. I hear his voice in my head when I shouldn't be hearing his voice in my head.
I hear it like if someone cuts me off when I'm driving. I'm thinking, what would John do right now?
Just do the opposite.
And then I instantly know what he would have done.
Well, let me see. What did he do when that person got up? What happened when that guy got in your face, John? He's like right up near you when you were at that convention.
Oh, was the kid?
Yeah, the kid. You're like,
he recognized you.
Stop violating my personal space.
You get off of me.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's funny though, and as little and as my channel is, it was funny for me in Charlotte that people recognized me. And it's funny because Mike now, when he goes to the local shops around here, people recognize him from the unboxings, and they kind of circle around him, and I've seen it happen. And they start asking him questions about reconditioning and pressing, and they'll like show him a book. Hey, does this look like this could get pressed? And they get all over him. And it's funny to me because he has no anonymity now. People know who he is.
For those anybody in the New Jersey area, I will be at the Clifton Con this Sunday.
Oh.
So
now, what is Clifton Con? Is that the name of the city?
Yeah, it's a famous little con in New Jersey they have every month. They've been having it since the early They've been having it since the early '90s, and a lot of big dealers go there. So I haven't been to it in a while.
You mentioned it before. Do they take down and set up every week or every month?
Every month, yeah, absolutely. Zap Comics is there. Dan Gallo's usually there. A bunch of other local guys that are.
So now Dan Gallo, he's from New York, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He always says he has tons of slabs and all good slabs.
Yeah. I correspond with him frequently. I have him always looking for books that I want.
I purchased my
that grades are too high for me. He always has like 7 O's or 8 O's, and
I got my Fantastic Four 4 from him like 2 years ago.
Okay.
I have a 3.5. That's about all I could afford.
Yeah.
Back then, I couldn't afford a 3.5. Now, the way that book is,
But he has a knack for finding really high grade silver and golden age books.
That's what he does. That's what he does. I mean, he has nothing but slabs and stuff like that. So
yeah, good for him. He's definitely he's tapped into that market for sure. And there's other people too that I'd rather not deal with. I'd rather I'll pay more than have to deal with some of the people out there. The ones that we've had to try to deal with.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's 8:04.
Yes, we had a great guest on tonight.
Absolutely.
We had John.
Good to have John back.
It is. See, John sets our moral compass. Resets it.
He resets it, all right.
Wow.
Puts everything in balance. He's very Thanos-like in that way. If we're being too kind and sweet.
Okay, here we go. All right, let's answer the question.
We'll bring a little bit of John in, and that levels us back to neutral.
All right, before we go, if John is Thanos,
yes,
then who are we?
Oh.
And then when it comes to the children of Thanos, me and you.
Oh.
John is Thanos. He snaps his finger and it's done. But we're the ones that go out and get. Help them out.
Who are we? Do the thing. I think you have to be Glaive, right?
Am I Glaive?
The Reaper. Yeah. You care. You're the Reaper, right?
I'm the Reaper.
I don't know who I would be.
I say, Ebony Maw.
Oh, yeah. I didn't like how he died, but I guess
you don't have to die that way.
He is prone to large speeches, isn't he?
He was definitely the most intimidating, though, I would think.
Well, I think he was definitely his left-hand guy.
Yeah.
You could tell that of all the ones that disappeared, that one bothered him the most.
Yeah.
That he was dead.
Yeah. Because I mean, I think Proxima Midnight was good, but the other guy, the other big guy, what was it, Corvus Glaive or whatever? He was just this big, big.
The guy with the hammer kind of thing.
Yeah, he's just the muscle.
He was just a thug. Yeah.
That's all. But we got Thanos, we got Ebony Maw, and we got who am I again?
Corvus Glaive.
Oh, I'm Corvus Glaive. Oh, okay. The Reaper guy. Who was the big Vulcan guy? Who was the big Vulcan guy?
They better bring Vision back, and they better not make him such a puss.
Oh, I hear they're speaking of speculation.
Yeah, I mean, he was a complete puss in that movie, and it irritated the hell out of me.
Oh yeah, it's my character, my guy. I killed him.
I mean, he got roughed up, and then the street level people came in and took care of things for him. That irritated that. That was the one thing about that. And then Saturday night, it bothered me again. That they had to be rescued by the street level people. They're just people, basically. Don't have any powers at all. Captain America has a little bit of power, but I don't know. It was irritating to me.
Yeah, it irritated me too. How
and also the other thing is Scarlet Witch has completely lost her accent. I don't know how that happened.
She forgot.
Forgot, and they don't. I mean, they don't even try to hide it. It's not like they don't say like she took lessons or something. She's just completely lost her.
She's just a shitty actress.
Yeah. I didn't. She was actually pretty good though in what was that movie with Jeremy Renner she was in, where it was up like in on an Indian reservation, I think in Wyoming, Wind River. She played an FBI agent in that, and they were together in the movie, and it was really good. If you haven't seen it yet, it's on Netflix. It's a real good movie. Murder mystery. So anyway, I see we're just about out of people. It's after 8. John, are you missing your show? It's not on right now?
No, it doesn't start until the 20th.
Oh, okay. So we still have access to you then another couple of weeks, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, until next week, everybody, thanks for stopping in. I'll see everyone next week. Thanks for stopping by. And hopefully if things go right, we'll have a big unboxing next week. That'll be fun, live. And then we'll go from there. But until next time, thanks, everyone.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Take care.